Death behind bars. An inquest probes into what went wrong at the SouthWest Detention Centre. Practice patience.
It's long overdue.
Drivers beware, another major construction project is already snarling traffic. And runners around the world embrace a new half marathon.
I think it's about time Windsor has something like this.
A successful race paving the way for future events.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us both on CTV Windsor and AM 800. A Michigan man is on trial for a murder in Windsor into the 2023 death of his estranged wife. 36-year-old Sarah Boulay was reported missing by her family in late May of 2023. Court learned Monday she was killed sometime between May 26th and May 29th. Her body was discovered on June 8th in a field in South Windsor. Police charged her husband, Brian Marbury, with murder and causing an indignity to a human body. Today, in Superior Court, Marbury, now 47 years old, pleaded guilty to the later offense but pled not guilty to murder. He was elected to be tried by a judge and jury. The trial is expected to start Tuesday morning. Meantime, an inquest started today into yet another overdose death inside the SouthWest Detention Centre. This one goes back to 2021, and already the jury has learned the dealer who sold the drugs to the inmate has pleaded guilty to his actions. Joining me to explain the details thus far is Michelle Maluske. Michelle.
Yeah, Stefanie, an inquest was held just this past July into the overdose death of an inmate, Joseph Grattan. He died in 2019, but the person who sold him the drugs was never identified or charged. In this inquest, a drug dealer working inside the jail has been charged and convicted in the 2021 overdose of a young man whose family says he was trying to turn his life around. Nathaniel Krug died on March 10, 2021 from a drug overdose just 9 days after he was arrested. Krug was facing attempted murder and firearm charges for a non-fatal drive-by shooting. The jury learned Monday Krug visited a different cell to purchase drugs from another inmate. He hid the drugs inside his body. Krug shared some of the drugs with his cellmate, and they both suffered an overdose. Krug's cellmate was responsive in the jail and survived. In spite of numerous doses of naloxone, Krug was rushed to Windsor Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Krug's aunt, Dr. Amy Fitzgerald, will represent the family during the inquest. A criminologist, Fitzgerald says there are many questions the family needs answered, and they worry how Krug died will forever be overshadowed by how important he was to their family. He made some bad decisions, she said, but told the jury Krug was trying to get clean and was looking forward to becoming a father. He was a wonderful nephew, Fitzgerald concluded. The autopsy determined Krug died from fentanyl and atozolam toxicity. 5 months after Krug's death, Windsor police charged inmate Luc Bouchard with drug trafficking, criminal negligence, and manslaughter. He pleaded guilty to drug trafficking in August 2022 and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. The criminal negligence and manslaughter charges were then withdrawn by the Crown. As with any other inquest, this jury cannot lay blame. They're solely tasked with trying to come up with recommendations for how to protect inmates from future harm. The inquest will resume tomorrow and is expected to wrap up by next Monday. Stefanie.
Okay, Michelle Maluske, thank you for this today.
Welcome.
Shane Pruchik next. The 41-year-old man pulled from a fiery collision on Tecumseh Road East last weekend has died. The crash on September 6th that left 6 people injured after a pickup truck driver allegedly struck a sedan near McDougall Street before veering into eastbound traffic and colliding head-on with an SUV. The occupants of the SUV were identified as Shane Pruchik and his wife Stefanie McDowell, as well as their 3 children. 34-year-old Austin James Richard was charged with 2 counts of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm, and leaving the scene of a collision. Police say a motorcyclist was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries after getting hit from behind by a vehicle. The crash happened around 9 p.m. on Sunday in the 2100 block of Front Road in Amherstburg. Officials say the 70-year-old motorcyclist was taken to hospital, and this investigation remains ongoing. Anyone who witnessed the crash is asked to contact police. Meantime, authorities seized nearly 2,000 pounds of drugs in two separate buses at Michigan-Canada border crossings just hours apart. At the Blue Water Bridge in Port Huron, Homeland Security found 940 pounds of meth in a semi-trailer. Less than 6 hours later, at Detroit's Fort Street cargo facility, customs officers found over 1,000 pounds of cocaine hidden in a truck hauling oat flour. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins us now for a first look at the weather from the top of the Bell Building tonight, where, Gary, we are seeing above seasonal temperatures.
Yes, indeed. Good evening, folks. Good evening across the board. Enjoy this last ditch of summer warmth. We are several degrees above seasonal, mostly sunny conditions, fair weather or cloud. And it looks like we'll continue this trend, at least for the next 2 to 3 days, maybe even 4. But right now, tomorrow looks sunny, just like today, clear as a bell. And for the most part, we're looking at humidity, making it feel a few degrees warmer today. A high of 27 felt like about 31. So what's tomorrow going to bring? I'll break down what you need to know to see where temperatures are trending even towards the weekend up ahead. That's coming up soon right here on CTV News. For now, I'll send it back inside to you at the desk.
Another major construction project kicking off today. This one an overpass at Banwell and the Expressway. And it is expected to add even more traffic chaos to an already congested commute. Drivers are being warned to pack their patience as more lanes close to traffic on EC Row. Bob Bellacicco has the latest on the delays.
It's long overdue.
Signs are up and cars have slowed down to a crawl on the expressway near Banwell. Windsor is building a new overpass to help with traffic flow. Ward Councillor Angela Marignani is receiving a little blowback, though.
We are, but we're also getting a lot of residents who are saying it's about time. This is going to improve their quality of life, their travel time.
So work began earlier this morning here in the Banwell corridor and comes 11 months after the completion and opening of the Banwell roundabout just down the street. Now, this project is supposed to last into 2027. While the $100 million project is expected to cause some delays, the impact on drivers will be less severe than it could have been. The new road is being built alongside the existing one.
We can have traffic flow while the construction's going on and not having the big holdups.
However, the expressway will close westbound for 3 days and then eastbound for another 3 days to allow for underground infrastructure work.
At the next council meeting, we'll be applying for noise exemption so that we can do this 24/7 to reduce that inconvenience to our residents.
Elsewhere, the Manning Road roundabout is moving along.
This first step was to get that roundabout in, and it looks like 2 to 3 weeks to get that finished from now, and then tidy it up.
We're definitely looking forward to having this roundabout completed so that our clients and our team can make it to and from the office without too much disruption. But they're doing a great job.
The next phase will focus on the widening of County Road 42 from the west side of Manning.
Any widenings to the north or south or the east will come in future years and future construction projects. But we're going to focus on getting a link between the two roundabouts.
And finally, Howard near the mall continues to plug along. Howard to South Cameron has been corrected. New traffic lights installed at Howard and Sydney. Completion date?
Mid to late October. What the project managers keep saying to me is that our goal is to have the project completed in time for the holiday shopping season.
Bob Bellacicco, CTV News.
For our question of the day, we want to know, is your commute impacted by road construction? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked if you are bothered by the number of calls and texts coming from phone numbers you don't know. Out of more than 1,100 votes, 92% say yes, they are. Windsor City Council is set to decide on demolishing the aging clubhouse at Roseland Golf Club. Council will be asked to give the go-ahead on Monday. Council will be asked to approve a $2.53 million contract with Sterling Ridge to tear down the current building, which has been closed since March of 2020. Council will also be asked to endorse the new conceptual design for a smaller, modern 5,500 square foot clubhouse with outdoor seating, grab-and-go food service, and upgraded facilities. The City of Windsor has certified the list of candidates running in the Ward 2 by-election. There are 15 candidates seeking the vacant seat. The seat has been vacant since the end of June following the resignation of Fabio Costante. It has the distinction of being the oldest church west of Montreal, its roots dating back to 1728. But Assumption Church has been denied National Heritage status. CTV's Travis Fortnum is at the church tonight. And Travis, parishioners aren't taking the news lightly at all.
That's right, Stefanie. Officials at the church call this development disappointing. They first applied to the board back in 2022, and now they've learned that application was not successful. For as long as the Ambassador Bridge has spanned Canada and the U.S., Assumption Church has stood in its shadow. But the church was here first.
It was built in 1845. It was established as a parish in 1767, exactly 100 years before Confederation. And it was the first Catholic parish in this part of the country.
Paul Mullins has been leading restoration efforts at Assumption in recent years, and volunteers thought those efforts would be helped by the grants that come with attaining National Historic Site designation. With all that history under the steeple, they figured it was a natural fit. But the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada saw it differently.
It's incredibly disappointing to me and a huge surprise to anyone who's familiar with this property and with this church.
They applied back in 2022, and just last week we're told that application has been denied. The board writing in part, board members concluded that the overall architecture of the church was not considered an outstanding example of a church of that place and time.
They're comparing it to some other churches that were built in Montreal at that time, not taking into consideration that this was built in the virtual wilderness. And still quite amazing to me and disappointing.
CTV News reached out to the board and Parks Canada, but did not hear back by deadline. Hundreds still fill the pews at Assumption each week for Sunday Mass, and this weekend Mullins shared the news of the rejection with them face to face.
The comments I received afterwards were just amazement, surprise, disappointment, and encouragement not to accept that as the final answer.
And they're not yet. Mullins says they're reaching out to Stephen Guilbeault, the minister responsible for Parks Canada, to invite him to tour the church in person. Now, this likely is not the end of the story. There's nothing officially preventing a resubmitted application on behalf of Assumption Church, and with folks with the parish saying they're seeking further clarification from Parks Canada, it looks like that might not be off the table someday. Stefanie.
Okay, good to know. Thank you so much. A years-long closure of the more than a century-old St. Joachim Church ended on Sunday. Residents walked the floors of the long-shuttered building to see the ongoing restoration work. Here's more on the work done and what lies ahead.
Today was to bring the people of the community in to see what we're going to offer them and have them decide whether this is going to continue or not. Our focus this summer was to seal up the outside for the winter, because there was quite a bit of damage done to the outside.
They're converting it into a community center, but hopefully a community center that's much broader than just St. Joachim, one that will incorporate all the French culture. 2 feet of water didn't even come close to undermining this building. It was built in 1881, and there's no doubt it was built to last.
It means a lot to me to see the building still standing. You see the generation that's coming in today, older generation, and they can't believe what we're doing for them. Well, after today, we'll see what our donations are looking like. If the community doesn't want to donate and support us, so be it. We'll just lock her up and keep the heat on and keep the building standing.
Thousands of runners from across the world hit the pavement over the weekend for the inaugural Ground Effects Windsor Waterfront Half Marathon and 5K, an event that raised tens of thousands of dollars for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Windsor Essex, and Lupus, Ontario.
Let's go, runners!
The atmosphere was wild. The Cars for Cause having the Lamborghini lead off the race, that was incredible. It was something else. It's not something that Windsor's used to. It was on par with the bigger marathons that I've been to, like Toronto and Detroit. We had runners from Australia, Germany, Italy, France, all West Coast, East Coast locations.
We are currently serving nearly 500 children and youth, and we're a local non-for-profit. So just to be part of something this big was incredible. It was amazing. The atmosphere yesterday, to put it simply, was just incredible. There was such a sense of community and kindness and inspiration. The finish line was filled with people cheering everyone on. We had mentors cheering on their mentees. We had bigs cheering on littles, board members cheering on staff. It was incredible. I was so proud to be part of the Windsor Essex community that day. Our agency is about children overcoming obstacles and achieving their goals, and we saw that yesterday. We had a little who ran the marathon in an hour and 30 minutes, and his big of over 5 years was ringing a bell and screaming his name and cheering him on.
With my daughter is to give her as normal of a life as she can possibly handle. And give her experiences that normal children experience. And having the ability for her to cross the finish line on her feet like that was very important to me. So, yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I think it's about time Windsor has something like this. I only see it not only staying, but growing.
Shocking charges still ahead on Windsor's news leader. A child among the suspects in violent robberies and a fatal shooting. The House of Commons is back, and the government wants everyone on board. When we return, what's next for Canada? And tomorrow, movie lovers, get ready. WIF's 2025 full lineup drops tomorrow, and we've got your first look. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. Toronto police have made arrests in a string of violent, unprovoked attacks across that city. One man was killed, and in a shocking development, as CTV's Beth McDonnell reports, one of the accused is just 12 years old.
On Sunday, August 31st, in Toronto's downtown core, police say a 12-year-old and 20-year-old went on a violent crime spree. At times during the 5 attacks, one of them was armed with a hammer. 3 of the victims were people experiencing homelessness, and in one case, it's led to the alleged killing of a man beaten in Nathan Phillips Square.
It is here that they encountered a 62-year-old underhoused male sleeping on a bench. Unprovoked, they began violently beating this male.
Police say all the attacks took place between 5:45 and 8:07 in the morning, with the first 2 at or near Yonge and Dundas. To start, they say the accused approached a man experiencing homelessness sitting on a bench and beat him. He managed to escape, but a short time later, police say the pair attacked another unhoused victim, this time a 70-year-old. He got away too before being rushed to hospital with serious injuries. It was the 3rd attack that took place at Nathan Phillips Square, police say, against the 62-year-old man. This time, the accused took off, with the man going to hospital with serious injuries. He was released, but police say he died 4 days later.
The cause of death was determined to be related to this attack.
Leaving the square, police say the pair went to Gerrard and Yonge, where they tried to take a 63-year-old man's phone. But when he tried to get it back, they pushed him to the ground, before moving on to College and Yonge, where they asked to use another male's phone. When he refused, police say the accused slapped the phone out of his hand and threw an object at him.
Thanks to the keen eye of 2 young officers from 52 Division, the accused were arrested shortly after this final attack.
What is very concerning is the age of one of the accused. A 12-year-old male who cannot be identified has been charged with second-degree murder, along with a 20-year-old man, Isaiah Byers, 20, of Toronto.
Police say both accused were on release orders at the time and both remain in custody. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
It's a big day on Parliament Hill. The government laying out its priorities and calling for cooperation across party lines. And the first highly anticipated face-off between the Prime Minister and the Conservative leader. CTV's Michael Couture reports.
The Liberals will need help from any opposition party if they want to make progress on things like bail reform and immigration changes. And let's not forget, they still have to pass a budget.
So I'm looking forward to a collaborative session.
The Prime Minister was preaching collaboration, while many were anticipating today's confrontation.
Mr. Speaker, why is it that all of this Prime Minister's promises of yesterday turn into today's disappointments?
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre attacked the Prime Minister's record. Mark Carney responded with a dig about Poilievre's absence from the House as he campaigned in a by-election.
He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians. He missed the cut on the GST for new homes. He missed eliminating all federal barriers to trade.
Despite all the jabs, all are calling for cross-partisan collaboration on issues like housing, bail and immigration reform, and the ongoing affordability crisis.
We're going to oppose the government where it makes sense. We are going to support things that make sense, and we are going to expose what they're not telling us.
We are a minority government, yes, but we believe that we have a mandate to proceed with major things.
It's why Liberal House Leader Steve McKinnon said his party is willing to negotiate on details, not principles.
There will be no negotiation, but we want to collaborate. What does that mean? Obey? Become Liberals? Might not happen.
It's by force of will that I ignore the fact that Mr. Carney seems to have one speed, which is fast, and one vehicle, which is a bulldozer.
Any collaboration will be tested soon, as the Liberals will need help to pass a budget this fall, one that the government says is projected to have a substantial deficit. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
We turn now to questions about what's next for the Ontario Liberal Party after leader Bonnie Crombie announced she will be resigning. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Bonnie Crombie's exit as Ontario Liberal leader comes after less than 2 years on the job. Only 57% of delegates at the party's annual general meeting wanted her to stay. Crombie says she decided to go after speaking with her family, the party executive, and her caucus.
People were there in a supportive way to support their friend and their colleague. And she asked them for their advice, and they all gave their advice individually. I'm not going to say what that advice was.
But Liberal MPPs reject any whisper of a revolt or an effort to push Crombie out. While more than half of the Liberals who voted wanted to stick with Crombie.
It was a tough election campaign. She did her best.
Liberals now say going forward with a new leader is what's best for the party.
If we really want to make the inroads with Ontarians and actually have a chance of forming government in the next election.
The Liberals are entering their third leadership contest since the Wynne government's defeat in 2018. There are some existential questions to consider.
Who they are and what they are, because what we just saw happen doesn't necessarily help the party and strengthen them to take on Doug Ford. They're basically starting all over again.
MP Karina Gould, who ran for leadership of the federal Liberals this spring, has been mentioned as a possible Ontario contender. So has her caucus colleague, Nate Erskine-Smith. He came in second to Bonnie Crombie in the leadership contest in 2023.
He's someone that I think has a special ability to, number one, communicate in this day and age to young people.
Erskine-Smith coy about the possibility of pursuing leadership again.
I got no idea what the future holds for me exactly.
Political analyst Scott Reed says for Liberals, it's less important to pick a new leader quickly than to pick well.
What the party really, really needs is someone who can light the lamp, someone who has the political talent to break through, to get noticed, to take the fight to Doug Ford.
Though there needs to be time to attract good quality candidates.
Because this party cannot afford to keep coming third, or it may not be around to compete elections down the road.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
The Bank of Canada is widely expected to cut its key interest rate by 0.25% to 0.5% this week. The central bank will announce its policy decision on Wednesday. That will follow the release of inflation data for August tomorrow. Economists expect the annual inflation rate to rise to 2% from 1.7% in July. The U.S. Federal Reserve is also expected to cut interest rates this week.
I'm Jason Peffer, Business Manager and Financial Secretary of UA Local 527, Southwestern Ontario. Joining Local 527 is a great career choice. There is opportunity in all trades right now. When licensed, a plumber, steam fitter, or pipe welder will be in the top 5% of the wage earners in the country. To become a licensed plumber, steam fitter, or welder involves an apprenticeship program. It's a 5-year apprenticeship program for a plumber and steam fitter and 3-year for a welder. And during that time, you will earn while you learn. You're getting paid, so you don't have to worry about your bills, and there's no student loan to repay at the end of your apprenticeship. There are no limits to employment with the UA. There are currently 370,000 members throughout the United States and Canada, with work opportunities in every state and every province if you should choose to do so. I would characterize job satisfaction in 2 ways. One with what you build at the end of the day with your hands, and the other all while earning an above-average wage and creating a comfortable lifestyle for both you and your family. If you'd like to join Local 527, go to ua527.com.
The Trades, brought to you by UA Local 527.
Energy stocks helped Canada's main stock index close higher today. In Toronto, the TSX gained 147 points. In New York, the Dow added 49, the Nasdaq up 208. The Canadian dollar gained a quarter-cent today. On commodity markets, gold is up more than $32 an ounce and oil added 61 cents a barrel. Is the AI the next internet or something more concerning? Why Canadians are urging caution, that's coming up.
Let's look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Brandon Ellis for this beautiful image. Such gorgeous colors at this time of the year as the leaves start to change. Just ahead, will sunshine and warmer than average temperatures be in store tomorrow and beyond? We'll find out next on CTV News Windsor.
A look outside during the lunch hour. Gary joins me again to talk about the warm week ahead of us. Gary.
Warm, bright and sunny. I think it's beautiful right now. I don't think there are too many complaints with temperatures being above seasonal by about 4 to 5 degrees. We've been dealing with this since late last week, the middle of last week, actually. 27 today. Our average is closer to 23. The low is about 14 this morning before dawn. Our average is closer to about 12 to 13. So it's been very pleasant. Mostly sunny conditions with that ridge of high pressure in place. The air quality is actually in the medium bracket. So anywhere from 4 to 6 is considered, well, not filthy in terms of the air quality, but not perfectly agreeable to our breathing apparatus, our system. So be under advisement. Temperatures between 25 and 27. Chatham-Kent towards Windsor-Essex, that's 77 to 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And of course, humidity has crept up. And because it's increased, it makes it feel a little bit warmer, especially in Windsor. It feels like about 30 right now at the airport, about 27, close to 28 in Chatham-Kent. The national temperatures are mostly in the upper teens and low 20s across the board on this map. However, extreme southwestern Ontario is the warm spot in the country. The winds have been breezy, and they'll pick up a touch. Sustained winds around 15 and 20 with gusts closer to about 25 to 35 between now and 10 o'clock, and then they'll just die down through the overnight. And we are still looking at a beautiful, calm, late night, early morning. Ridge high pressure is keeping the clouds at bay. It's generally speaking cooler air, denser air sinking to the surface, which of course inhibits, not uniformly, but inhibits the rising of air, which would condense into clouds and possible precipitation with the right ingredients involved. Not much expected in terms of showers in the next 24 to 48, perhaps 72 hours, in fact. Maybe beyond that point. Mostly clear through 8, 10, and midnight. And the overnight temperature is about 13. Sunny Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures 27 to 28. Then possible showers Friday, 26. Cooling off the weekend, Saturday, cloudy 22, then 25, cloudy on Sunday, and then up to about 26 a week from now, and a chance of thunder showers as we are getting close to rounding out the summer season.
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
Many observers have compared the recent rise of artificial intelligence to the internet boom in the 90s or the invention of the smartphone. While it's considered a breakthrough technology, many Canadians want to pump the brakes on how quickly AI is advancing.
From tutoring students in elementary school to performing life-saving surgery, artificial intelligence is emerging virtually everywhere, but a new survey shows many Canadians would prefer to slow down its rapid progress.
The reality is we have a 4-point increase, now reaching 50% of Canadians who believe that AI is a threat.
That's up from a survey conducted 2 years ago, with data showing most skepticism coming from seniors.
It's the over 55 generation that is more likely to be worried about AI, essentially making things harder for humanity.
The survey also shows nearly 80% are concerned with AI's threat to jobs and its dumbing down of education. And just over 70% even worry AI can threaten human life.
People, I think, have a right to be concerned about where it's going.
Alan Mackworth has spent decades working in AI.
This is one of the world's first robot soccer players.
Creating ball-kicking robots in the 90s. He says AI's impact on jobs needs to be addressed, along with how it's being used in online scams.
We have to be concerned about maintaining human autonomy and human dignity as robotics and AI become increasingly prevalent. So there's a clear need for regulation.
But he says the rewards of AI are too great to ignore, calling for a more balanced approach.
I would say I'm cautiously optimistic, but very wary of some of the rogue uses of AI that have to be curtailed. But I think there's enormous potential for good, especially in healthcare.
Most people gravitate towards, let's handle this slowly, figure out a way in which we can make this better for humanity without jeopardizing existing jobs.
Less than 40% polled said they trust government to manage AI. Kevin Chirac, CTV News.
From coast to coast, Canadians choose to travel at home. Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, how those vacations helped the economy.
Would you text your ex for $10,000? 89X is back. Listen for the keywords and text your ex. It's never been more rewarding to get back with your ex. Only on Windsor's Alternative, 89X.
New data shows trips between Canada and the U.S. were down in August in what Statistics Canada noted was the 7th month in a row of declining travel. Canadians crossing the border showed a steep decline both by air and by car as more people decided to explore their own country this summer. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
Many Canadians changed their summer vacation plans to avoid crossing the U.S. border and instead opted to spend their tourism dollars in their home country. A Canadian travel survey by Angus Reid, sponsored by Moneris, found 26% of Canadians changed, postponed, or canceled their U.S. travel plans. That was good news for Canadian hotels, restaurants, and other businesses.
Domestic tourism as a spending vehicle to drive the economy is enormous.
The survey found that 30% of Canadians decided to travel to other provinces, while 44% decided to travel within their own province. The shift towards spending tourism dollars domestically helps boost the Canadian economy by millions of dollars a day.
When you think about businesses in Canada and merchants in Canada, tourism is so important to what they do.
Year-over-year interprovincial spending across Canada increased by 5%. The Territories increased 10%, Alberta 9%, and Saskatchewan increased 6%.
This is great news, and we're just very, very thankful to the Canadians who took this step, and they really talked with their actions.
Royal Roads University, a school of tourism and hospitality, says their industry in Canada is thriving with skilled workers needed in many areas. It says the American tourism market has seen a major decline, not just in individual travel, but also for conferences and school trips. Until political tensions with the U.S. eases, it's expected Canadians will continue to explore different regions of the country and spend their money here.
Well done, Canada. Well done for just behaving in a way that just really supports, who we are. We want to really support our local economies, and you saw that this year.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Bird watchers far and wide landed in Amherstburg this weekend for the annual Festival of Hawks. Essex County plays a key role in the migration of birds flapping their wings south. Here are some of the sights and sounds from the event.
We are here at Holiday Beach Conservation Area celebrating the spectacle of migration, whether that's insects, monarchs, butterflies, and of course all different types of bird species that are starting their journey to their overwintering sites.
Just about over tall tree now. Bino and a half, 2 binos up.
This is a really key area for migration of hawks in the fall, and we'll get droves of hawks flying over here because they don't want to fly across the lake because there's no thermals on the lake. Hawks are a really good indicator of the general health of the environment because they're right at the top of the food chain. So if they're not surviving, we know that there's a problem further down.
Maybe we see a bald eagle on our drive to work now because it's so common, but it actually is not. It shouldn't get old. It should be an amazing experience every time.
All these places are gems and they should be conserved. And in fact, we should start making more because, it reduces the risk of population reduction.
There are a couple of new acts scheduled to perform at the Coliseum. First,
have you been to before? That place where hearts reborn.
Canadian rock legends Our Lady Peace hits the Coliseum stage December 5th. With hits like Clumsy and Somewhere Out There, the band has sold over 5 million albums and earned a spot on Canada's Walk of Fame.
He goes, "You can't go a week without drinking booze?" And I said, I don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest.
Then comedian Andrew Santino returns to Caesars Windsor in January. Known for co-hosting the hit podcast Bad Friends with Bobby Lee, Santino has starred in shows like Dave and I'm Dying Up Here, and recently released his Netflix special Cheeseburger. Catch him live January 16th. Tickets for both shows go on sale this Friday.
What?
Comedian Joe Coy and friends are coming to Caesars Windsor for a rousing night of stand-up Saturday, November 8th. Enter online at ctvwindsor.ca for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to see Joe Coy and friends at Caesars Windsor, plus a $200 gift card.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Open Streets Windsor is back on Sunday, September the 21st from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. The cars disappear and the streets come alive. Connecting Sandwichtown to Ford City, it's Windsor's biggest street party. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kettner. And Melanie, you have more on the demolition of the Roseland Golf Clubhouse.
That's right. If approved, demolition could begin this fall without disrupting the busy golf season. Roseland Board Chair and Ward 8 Councillor Gary Kashuk says demolition could start in November, allowing the 18-hole course to attract players up to the end of the season. Kashuk adds Roseland is having a record year booked for rounds booked, calling it a profitable and well-maintained course. We've got those details online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we've also got a story online, Melanie, about the 9th annual Children's Art Exhibition.
Yes, it's coming back to Windsor, and that means it's time to submit your art. The city and the International Relations Committee are looking for submissions from kids between 6 and 13 years old. The theme is Friendships from Neighborhoods to Nations. Deadline is September 29th. Then the chosen art will be displayed at Devonshire Mall. You can see ways to enter in the story on our website. And in our social spotlight, here's proof you're never too old to try something new.
My problem is I can't hear because my hearing is shot. Okay.
Go on your belly.
You go on your belly?
So his 83-year-old grandma wanted to try tubing for the first time. A bit of a slow start, but looks like she's getting the hang of it. And at the end, she says she loved it, Stefanie.
Oh, I just want to see a little bit of the video go through. But yeah, you're right. It did take a little bit. Oh, there we go. You know what? 83, why not? What's holding you back? I'm sure it's an experience she's going to remember.
Yeah, I think she did amazing.
And you are welcome to submit a video for our trending segment.
That's right. You can email it to newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
He thought he was just taking photos until one injured crow changed everything. A real-life story of connection when we return.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
Gorgeous skies, above seasonal, love it.
Yeah, above seasonal. Now that picture there made it seem like it was very cloudy. It was just partially cloudy. Actually, it was mostly clear and temperatures above the average for this time of the year. One more look at our South's heating and cooling 7-day forecast. The highs are higher than 24 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Celsius, which would be more of the average. And that's the story through to at least Friday. The next 3 days, 27 to 28 degrees across the region. Sunny for those 3 days. Friday, cloudy and over, chance of showers and 26. Cooler for the weekend. Both days cloudy, 22 followed by 25. Saturday, Sunday, a week from now, mostly cloudy. About 23 degrees Celsius and about a 40% chance of showers. But really, it's short-term forecasting, highly accurate within the 24 to 48-hour period. So go outside and enjoy the sunny conditions.
Will do. Okay, thank you, Gary. Okay. Sanjay, you are anchoring our late newscast tonight, and we mentioned earlier in the show that residents in Ward 2 will be headed to the pools.
That's right, Stephanie. We've really entered the next chapter towards the road toward next month's by-election in Ward 2. After Fabio Costante stepped down as Windsor City Councillor earlier this year, the nomination period for people looking to fill that vacant seat closed this past Friday, and that means all 15 candidates are now locked in. Tonight, our Robert Lothian will be in Ward 2 speaking with residents about what they want to hear from a candidate to earn their vote at the ballot box ahead of Election Day on October 27th.
It will be a tight race.
Tight race for sure.
Thank you. Finally tonight, one man's daily walks in the park led to an unlikely friendship with a crow. CTV's Adam Sawatsky shows us how that bond took flight.
When Jake Huang went for a walk that day, he never expected to see a beaver.
It was surprising because it is the middle of the city.
So Jake started visiting the urban park daily to capture the beaver with his camera.
And it was just sort of building its dam and eating and just chilling by itself.
But Jake soon realized he was far from alone.
There's this kind of revelation that there's so much around us all the time.
The more Jake spent observing, the more creatures started appearing, the more calm he felt.
And it really showed me the importance, I guess, of slowing down.
But it was one particular crow, Jake says, who changed everything.
I noticed him right away from a distance because I was kind of worried he was injured.
He was limping, his foot twisted. But after observing more, Jake says the crow seemed to be thriving.
Saw other crows sort of like take care of him almost.
Jake named him Fabian and started documenting the crow daily over the next 3 years.
Well, they're very intelligent and they're very social and compassionate animals.
Recording the enduring love between Fabian and his mate June, which led to the couple starting a family together.
They're quite affectionate, so they would groom each other, they would spend time together.
And eventually, Jake earned Fabian's friendship. The crow would always fly over to greet him, Jake says, even after he had moved away for months.
It was so remarkable that when I came back, he just came to say hi.
How did that feel?
It felt magical, like a Disney movie or something.
Jake is now sharing his real-life movies about Fabian and all the other creatures he's encountered in the city on social media to honor our natural neighbors.
Connecting with living things, having empathy. You see this whole social life in this universe that's so different from ours, but it's just unfolding right in front of all of us, which is pretty amazing.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
The more we can get off our phones and tablets and be in the outdoors, I truly think is the best.
Good advice to get engaged. Traveling across the country, and what about our ecosystems, flora and fauna? Beautiful sight to see.
Fabian and his family, adorable.
And I love that name, by the way.
Yes, I know. Great name. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And I'll be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
Good night.
Good night.